You are listening to the SDSU podcast presented by the East Village Times with your hosts Andre Hagberdian and Paul Garrison. Welcome back, listeners, to the SDSU podcast. This is episode 117. I'm your host, Andre Hagberdian. We'll be joined shortly by my co-host, Paul Garrison. In this episode, we get to sit down with Ruben Peña, Director of Football Operations for San Diego State. Ruben is one of the holdovers from Brady Hoke's staff that Sean Lewis took over, replaced a lot of the coaching staff, other than, at this point, one position coach, Demetrius Sumler, but also Ruben and some of his operations staff were retained. As you'll get to hear, Ruben is a local San Diego kid, played multiple sports in La Jolla Country Day School, and has been a big part of the San Diego State football operations team for several years. Really cool to kind of get the behind the scenes look at what goes on game days, for travel, how to set all that stuff up, how to get the team in the position to be able to go out and perform on the field to the best of their abilities. Let's get to that interview, and then Paul and I will be back to give a few takeaways before we close it out. We want to welcome Ruben Peña, Director of Football Operations at San Diego State, to the podcast. What's going on, Ruben?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. Everything's all good, all well. Excited to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, the Director of Football Operations, just reading your bio on the GoAztecs.com website, it's challenging figuring out all that you do for the program. How would you describe all the hats that you wear in that role?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a unique. My 7th season over here at San Diego State. Thankful to the past head coaches and to our new head coach, Sean Lewis, for retaining me and keeping me on board here at San Diego State and entrusting me with such a critical role. As a director of football operations, I really focus around 3 aspects of the job. Number one is really helping Coach Lewis implement his vision for the program, and working closely with our 10 coaches. And the second thing that I pride myself on is working extremely closely with our student athletes and really helping them have the best experience that they can have while they're at San Diego State. And thirdly is the team travel aspect of the role, which includes the charters, the buses, the police escorts, all the team meals. So that's kind of what the role is in a nutshell, and obviously the day-to-day aspect of it as well, and running the front office and making sure that everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, you're on the website. There's like 14 different little things that they describe that it's under your supervision. One of those, as you mentioned, is travel. What are the main challenges on managing a road game for the football team?
Yeah, definitely. No, that's definitely a good question. We typically on an away game, we travel about 140 to 150 people. So at the end of the day, I'm responsible for all of those individuals to make sure that they get to our destination in a safe and an efficient manner. So, just starting on a road trip, leaving the Fowler Athletic Center, we're fortunate enough to have TSA come to campus and take care of us there. So setting up TSA right from the start is a responsibility. Making sure that the buses are at the Fowler Athletic Center is a responsibility. And then going over to the FBO, which is the private hangar on the other side of the airport, is another responsibility, and communicating with them to make sure that they're all ready for us. So when we arrive to the gate, we could get on to the tarmac pretty smoothly. And then offload all 150 people in a quick and efficient manner. Give them a plain side meal, which is something that falls under my responsibility as well. getting that coordinated, and then we're wheels up. So once that door closes, it's a breath of fresh air for a quick second, to to know that we're in the air, and then wherever we're going. As soon as we land, we got to put our game face back on in operations and offload the plane, make sure that the buses are all there at that location, and we all get on the bus and make sure the police escorts are there, and offload in a quick, efficient manner, and we're off to the team hotel. And then from that standpoint, it's go time. It's show time for the operations staff, making sure that everybody has their room keys, and then transition into team dinner, then team snack, and then we're just completely rolling on from that standpoint into game day. And making sure the meeting spaces are all set up at the hotel, making sure that the meals are running smoothly, and then getting the guys over to the stadium. And then once the game kicks off, again, it's another time to take a deep breath and just kind of be a cheerleader on the sideline and root for our guys, to play a good football game. And at about halftime, I flipped the switch again and go into my own game mode, and making sure that the plane is on the ground, that the flight crew is ready to go, make sure that TSA is at the FBO. So right when that game is over, we can transition from the stadium, going over to the FBO, and taking off, on the plane. And then we get back into San Diego, and then got to make sure that the buses are there again. And when we get back to the Fowler Athletic Center. So all this happens in a quick, efficient manner. And I really pride myself on, if nobody knows what the heck I'm doing, or where I'm at, that's a good thing. Anytime if something goes wrong, people usually know who I am, but I try and stay out of the light, from that sense. So that's kind of a quick recap of what goes on an away trip.
How does the equipment get there? Is that on
Yeah.
the plane, or is that bussed?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the trip, but we put some of it under the plane, and then we put most of it on our 53-foot trailer. And really, our equipment staff, led by Kevin Haynes, does a tremendous job of making sure that everything gets there. So thankfully, I oversee that area, but that's not technically my line of work.
Got it.
Yeah, we got to meet the drivers of the rig outside of Colorado Springs this last time, and they were just going through all that stuff and how quickly all gets flipped over, and they're back on the road and everything. Typically from the time, like, so then, okay, so you managed, and you just talked about the road games, but it seems like it's a pretty monumental task what you have to do for home games as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think road games are very similar to home games. The only main difference is that we don't have as many bodies going with us from a support staff standpoint. But yeah, we definitely still have a home hotel. All the same meals are required, all the same meeting space are required, all the same amount of buses are required. So definitely the responsibility for a home game is just up there, as much as a road game.
So we're just getting started with this, because as Andre said, there were 14. One of the other parts that was mentioned is community outreach. I mean, what does that mean on a practical level for you?
Yeah, definitely. A big thing for us right now in college football is name, image, and likeness, and we're really trying to get our guys out into the community to help them grow their brand, based off of their own persona, right? So we're trying to get them connected with different avenues and different things that really touch home with them. So it's an authentic approach and an authentic feel, when they're out into the community. Last year, one thing that we did as a football team is that we did a community cleanup, in the San Diego State area, and I thought that was pretty good to have our guys outside, their feet on the ground, with trash bags, and really contributing back to the San Diego State area. And it was good for the community to see the football players doing those things.
One of the things that the program has done in the off season is passing tournaments. We've covered it from a distance. Every coach we've spoken to has talked about raved about how the organization of the tournament, how the game times are, the fields, the quality of the refereeing. What role does those camps play to kind of keep the vision of the program alive, and what kind of changes might there be with a new head coach in place?
Yeah, definitely. The San Diego State camps are staples here. I'm just thankful to be given the reins to be able to run the camps the past couple years, and I'll be running our camps again this year. And there's going to really be no change. When Coach Lewis came in, one of the first discussions we had was what camps did we want to get done? Who do we want to have on campus this June? Because planning really starts yesterday in,
Yeah.
in January for these camps. We have over 84 teams come, high school teams over 2 weekends. We have over 800 kids come on the 1-day skills camp. So we're going to stay status quo, and Coach Lewis really likes what has been done here, and he just wants to continue to grow on those summer camps. So yeah, I'm glad you asked about those, because yeah, we're deep into planning. We sent out a save the date to the high school coaches that participated last year, and we're looking to get registration open in the next coming weeks.
You also play a part in helping, players transition from college to NFL or professional football. What role do you play in that area? And, does it last beyond just that first year they're gone, or how does that work?
Yeah. A part of my role is the NFL liaison, which I take a lot of pride in. One of the things that I love most about my job is dealing with our student athletes, right? And seeing them and helping them move in as a true freshman at 18 years old at University Towers, to seeing them graduate with a diploma at 22 years old. So you really see them come in as a boy, really, and turn into a man. And as a part of my role as an NFL liaison, a lot of the scouts always ask me, who are they as a person? What is their character like? If there's a piece of trash on the ground, are they going to pick it up, or do they walk right past it? So that's why I bring up seeing them from a boy to a man is so critical, because I get a front row seat in their development, and really understand who they are as a person. I deal a lot with the families, and have positive interactions with them as well. So I get to see them as a full, in full as a student athlete, and it's really fun to share their stories and share their journeys of who they are off the football field, right? Because I'm not a coach. I have no desire for the X's and O's. I'm off the field kind of guy, and I can really vouch for these student athletes to the NFL scouts on their progression and everything that they do so well. We talked about community outreach and all those kinds of things as well. And it just gives me an opportunity to share who they are as a person.
I think it's great talking about the community outreach. We actually had Christian Jones on here to talk about that event after he was part of it, man. But I'm a little bit exhausted just you talking about your job. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, it's amazing what you're able to do. But with everything with athletics, it's competitive. Do you feel competitive in your role, like maybe with other directors or the way other groups do it? Because obviously there's an easy correlation between you excelling in your role and the Aztecs excelling on the field.
Yeah, definitely. I like to be competitive within myself, for sure. We have a plus one mentality that Coach Lewis brought in, within our staff and within our football team, and really what that means is that every day you want to be plus one better, and you want to stack those plus ones up. So I'm really competitive within myself, and making the most out of each and every single day, and really trying to get the work done at the highest level, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm here to support. I understand my role. I'm here to take care of our coaches. I'm here to take care of our student athletes. I'm here to take care of the department. So whatever is asked of me, I'm going to give my 100% and try and stack those plus ones days. So when it's all said and done, I could look back and say that, I had a small part in helping the success of the program and help, the trajectory of where we want to go. And that's really winning Mountain West championships and competing in the football playoff.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you've, as you said, you've stacked enough +1 days that's turned into 7 years. But you obviously you mentioned already the gratitude that Sean Lewis retained you, right? You're one of the handful of guys that he did keep on his staff in the short time, because we're all still trying to get to know Coach Lewis. In the short time that he's been the head coach, I mean, I don't know if differences are the right words, because it's not like, I think everyone knows the respect that everyone has for Coach Hoke, and it's not like that, but it's just more, different personality, different person, and the things that he's brought to what you do and to the team in general.
Yeah, as far as Coach Lewis, he's tremendous. One word to describe him is he's passionate. He comes to work with energy every single day, and it's contagious. It rubs off on the staff, on the student athletes. Right now, we're laying the foundation for the culture, and really, I'm all in and all bought in on everything that he's saying and the direction that we want to go as a football program, and excited for where we're headed.
So, we talked about all the many things you do. When it's all said and done, what aspect of your work do you take the most pride or joy in?
Yeah, it's really the student athlete experience is my number one priority and my number one thing that I want to achieve every day. So, I take pride in making sure that they're taken care of off the football field, right? So, whatever sort of problems that they're facing, I want to make sure that they are taken care of. So whether it's a financial aid issue, it's a stipend issue, it's a meal plan issue, it's a books issue, it's problems at home issues. I'm there to be that soundboard for them. In my role, I'm in a unique position where we can have a different conversation because I am not a football coach. So we can find a way to relate in a different way. And I have an open door policy. All the guys know where my office is. And, if they just want to come in and talk about even positive things, I'm not always talking about negative things with the guys, but yeah, I'm there for them. And that's what I take the most pride in is our student athletes.
So should we add tutor to your list of duties as well?
Yeah, not quite. If they have problems in those areas, I'll shoot them up to the academic staff to make sure that they're getting taken care of.
Well, one thing we should add to your bio is Hall of Famer.
Let's go.
You became a Hall of Famer. I think it was about a week ago. The 2011 La Jolla Country Day baseball team was inducted to the school Hall of Fame. Tell us about that ceremony and what it meant to be recognized.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up. For first and foremost, I just want to thank La Jolla Country Day, Jeff Hutzler, and the rest of the committee for recognizing our hard work. While at Country Day, it's an extreme honor to be in this position and be part of such a a unique group of guys, fun group of guys, hardworking group of guys. And to be ever to be forever remembered for that 2011 baseball team. It was a lot of fun. As far as the ceremony, it was awesome. It was tremendous to get back on campus. It was great to be around the guys. A lot of them I hadn't seen, even since I had graduated. So it was cool to see them with their kids. To see them with their families again, to see them with their wives. So it was definitely a good situation. We got inducted with some top tier athletes as well, and Kelsey Plum, and we know all that she's done at University of Washington, and now with the Las Vegas Aces, and Tommy Edmond as well. Who's gone on to have a great career. Played at Stanford, got drafted in the 6th round, just recently signed another 2-year contract with the St. Louis Cardinals. So it was great to be part of that. of that ceremony, and just for forever grateful to the La Jolla Country Day community for recognizing us.
All right, now for anybody who hasn't seen it, you definitely got to go and look at it, put it on Twitter or wherever you can find it. But in the announcement for it, Ruben, you are kind of like the poster boy, right? You're the model that they use for the announcement. And if I'm not mistaken, man, you had some flowing hair. Is this accurate? Got to talk about the locks.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely a phase in high school. I did have long hair. I thought I was the coolest guy on campus with all the hair flowing out of the back of my hat, out of the back of my helmet. I'd sometimes put it up in a bun, and all those kinds of things. But yeah, I did have a flow. When the picture came out, there was a couple coaches on staff saying that I should bring it back. But I'm just thankful to have hair right now at this point in time. So I don't know if the flow's coming back anytime soon, but it was definitely a fun time.
Yeah, no, as my hair is creeping further and further away from my forehead, I definitely can understand that appreciation. But let's talk about the glory days. I mean, you kind of can't get to go relive high school and all those kinds of things, but when you get inducted to the Hall of Fame, man, it's completely appropriate. So, what kind of pitcher and outfielder were you in high school, man?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to La Jolla Country Day and get developed by some tremendous coaches, in John Edmond and Robert Grasso and Tyler Hales, just to name a couple. So, and really I owe a lot of my successes to them. And yeah, I had a lot of fun on the mound. I'm a lefty,
Right.
so it's always a challenge when you get on the mound, even though I wasn't throwing a lot of heat or anything like that. It's just it's coming from a different angle. Hitting the right locations always had a huge impact. And when I would got up to bat, I would swing for the fences and hope for the best. And sometimes coach didn't always like that approach, but I just prided myself on whatever I had to get done for the team, whether it was bunt, a sacrifice hit, a home run in some cases. It was definitely a fun time. And really what I remember most is the brotherhood, is the locker room, is laughing and hanging out with the guys, and the early mornings and the late nights and all those kinds of things is really what was most rewarding. And during that 2011 season, we had won the CIF championship as well, which was huge. It hadn't been done in a long, long time. I don't know even if ever. At La Jolla Country Day, and one thing that I remember about that season, specifically, was playing our championship game at Tony Gwynn Stadium at San Diego State University.
Oh,
So,
cool.
it's pretty cool walking into work every day and looking over at that stadium and knowing that I had an opportunity to play. And during that game, I had 2 hits. I was 2 for 3, and thankfully, we came out with a 7-0 victory over Francis Parker.
Did you play any other sports at Country Day?
Yeah, so I played football. I was a quarterback.
Mhm.
I played a little bit of basketball as well. But yeah, the football and baseball were my 2 pride and joys at La Jolla Country Day.
Did you have aspirations and get any looks about playing collegiate football, baseball, whatever?
Yeah, no, definitely. Growing up, I always thought that I was going to go to the major leagues for baseball. And during my time in high school, I think it was my sophomore junior year, I had a variation of the Tommy John surgery, which kind of set me back a little bit, from a pitching standpoint, but it was able to recover, well enough to still pitch. But I actually played collegiate football. I played NAIA football at a small school in a northern suburb of Chicago called Trinity International University. I went out there as a true freshman, redshirted, and then my second year out there, I was the backup, and was always ready to go. And that last game of the season, I had got my first collegiate start. enjoyed it, had a great time. We won, which was great. And, at that point in time, I hung up the cleats. I knew it was my time to step away from sports, from playing. And I ended up transferring to the University of Hawaii, and I got my business management degree from there.
Were you what kind of quarterback were you? A dual threat, a drop back passing? Well,
Yeah. I always like to say that I was 5 inches taller and I was 50 pounds lighter back in the day. So, I was able to launch the football. I was able to run around and scramble. Again, being a lefty brought a unique perspective to playing the position itself. So, yeah, I would like to call myself a dual threat.
nice. Couple more topics to get your insight. You travel all over the country. How nice is Snapdragon Stadium compared to the other venues you've been to?
Yeah, shout out to John David Wicker in the San Diego community and San Diego State for everything that they were able to get done with Snapdragon Stadium, especially during COVID-19, where a lot of people didn't think that it would get done in a timely and an efficient manner. Snapdragon is awesome. It is as good as they come. It is beautiful. We use that venue from a recruiting standpoint as much as we can. We get them in that Cox Business Club, we get them in the locker room, we get them up at the Saquon Piers, and really, it has done wonders for us, and it is beautiful. Every time I walk out onto the field, I'm just in awe. Even down to the grounds crew and Mike Kearns, they do a tremendous job on keeping that thing up and ready, especially with all the different events that go on in there. But really they take pride in it, and we always feel treated with all kinds of respect and all those good things every time that we walk into the venue. Yeah, so it's second to none. It's tremendous.
And as a San Diegan, man, I mean, I think you have a perspective on it. Love to hear just your thoughts on it. Like getting that done for the city, especially with everything happening with the Chargers and everything like that, and then the build out that's going to be there. What do you think SDSU Mission Valley Snapdragon can mean to like the greater community in San Diego?
Yeah, definitely. I'm born and raised here in San Diego, so growing up, I was fortunate enough to go to all types of events at Qualcomm, which is a historic landmark. But yeah, for the community, it is great. It's great to see the people come together at all the different events that's going on, whether it's Monster Jam, Supercross, soccer's, rugby, football, and then all the events within the athletic department that we have, the lacrosses and the soccers that get to go and experience that. It's awesome. I can't wait to take. Well, I did take my daughter, but my wife took my daughter, last year when she was just a baby over to Snapdragon to a couple games. But, as she gets older, I can't wait to get her out to the river park and slide down the slides, get her over to monster trucks and Monster Jam and all those kinds of good things. So yeah, it's tremendous for the people. It's tremendous for the community, and just so thankful that it came together in such a nice manner.
No, absolutely. Mine are a little bit older than yours, but they were at Monster Jam, a couple weeks ago. We did the River Park over,
Did
around
you?
New Year's, and everyone's it's really a really impressive what they did. Again, just the props to people who planned it and were able to actually deliver. But before getting you out of here, man, just wanted to have to ask about your dad, bro. Tell us about San Diego Football Night Lights and the work that he does to shine the light on high school football in America's finest city.
Yeah. My dad's a tremendous human being. He's my biggest supporter, and he's one of my biggest mentors, and just super excited to see his path and everything that he's done. One word that just comes to mind, when I think about my father, is serve. And that's something that I try and do every single day as well in my role. He runs San Diego Friday Night Lights magazine with his good buddy Montel Allen, and really their primary goal is to help student athletes get recognition and get viewership and ultimately get scholarships to play at the next level. You know, they're not focusing on Division I guys. The Division I guys get enough love and are well recognized. They really focus on the Division II guys, the Division III guys, and the NAIA guys, excuse me, and giving them an opportunity and that recognition to take their talents to the next level and really to earn a degree. So yeah, they do tremendous work in the community and really they want to help, the student athlete as a whole. So yeah, they're doing good stuff.
Now, does he have any other grandkids?
No, he does not have any other
bro, you paid
grandkids.
him back for everything. Everything's
Yeah,
perfect. Change the
yeah.
world.
Wait,
Awesome.
was that grandkids or kids?
Grandkids.
Grandkids. No, no grandkids. I do have a sister though.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave her out.
No, dude, congrats and everything, man. Such a beautiful, beautiful just gift that kids are like that for everybody.
Definitely.
All right, Ruben, to close out the interview, we have these fun rapid fire questions we like to ask our guests to get to know them a little better. You ready for those?
Okay, here we go.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, pho. I love pho. Soup.
Yeah, we know, Paul. Where do you get pho?
Off El Cajon Boulevard. Pho Cadao.
Okay. Yeah.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, I like let's see here. Gosh, I'm supposed to be quick with it, so you get the authentic answer here. But I'm a reality TV junkie, unfortunately.
Okay.
Any particular reality show?
Yeah, I like watching The Challenge on MTV.
Okay.
There's a little bit of competition in there, and then there's a lot of different drama. So,
Favorite musical artist or group?
yeah, I'm really into reggae. I love Revolution, Iration, Stick Figure. All those guys are on play all the time.
Favorite professional athlete?
Favorite professional athlete? I'm gonna have to go with Junior Seau.
Oh, there you go. 55th birthday should have been.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then last one, favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby is hanging out with my daughter, hanging out with my wife. Anytime that we get now, we're trying to explore San Diego as much as we can and take advantage of this 75-degree weather and sunshine.
That's it, man.
Awesome. There you go. Those are your rapid fire questions.
Awesome.
Ruben, thank you so much. It was great catching up with you and giving our listeners a little bit of the curtain, seeing behind the curtain of what happens on, behind the scenes to get a football team ready to play. So we definitely appreciate what you do and appreciate you taking the time with us.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank you guys and give you guys a shout out for everything that you have done for San Diego State football and shining, a wonderful light on our student athletes and on our coaches and all the hard work that you guys do for the community as well. So I just want to thank you guys for everything.
I appreciate that, Ruben. Thank you, man.
Have a good night.
All right.
All right, that was our conversation with Ruben Peña, Director of Football Operations. We have seen him and interacted with him at practices and such, and we know he does a lot, but just kind of looking through his bio and then having him give us a rundown just makes, shows us the value that he has to the program and why Sean Lewis, one of the first things he did was retain Ruben on staff. As we listened to him talk about all the things he did, was there anything that surprised you or kind of piqued your interest in terms of the things he does?
I wouldn't say surprise, only because obviously we've had these conversations and we've been able to see and that was the reason we wanted to be able to do it. I think maybe the only part that was a little bit surprising was getting the details of the NFL liaison and that he's the person who's having those conversations. But I mean, it's just incredible. It's the right word. There's certain people, Ruben's one of them, who just have this like bandwidth to be able to just keep adding more tasks and to have more things. And, as well as I do that anytime we are at an SDSU event, Ruben is front and center, showing his appreciation that we're there, that we're covering, that we're, going on the road with the team, etc. And just the fact that, that's his like respite in between everybody arriving at the game and then flipping the switches he talked about at halftime. I just think it's pretty special. And then, there's a little bit of time between, the interview that we had with him, the article that came out, and this conversation, and just the outpouring of support for him, people wanting and very happy that he received some recognition, that people could see what he did. And I think you can just see not just how he's impacted San Diego and San Diego football, but like his family and everything like that.
Yeah, in all honesty, I knew he was a San Diego kid, but I didn't know that he had that baseball background, the football background, playing NAIA football. Like that stuff I
Mm-hmm.
don't think is in his bio
No,
on Go Aztec. So those are things. I mean, we knew about the baseball because of the ceremony that had happened a week before that, but
right.
we didn't know that he played NAIA football, where he played and things like that. And he was a quarterback, and um, I remember at Sean Lewis's introductory press conference, I saw Ruben there. I just went to quickly say hi, and he had no idea whether that was going to be his last day at San Diego State.
Wow. Even then. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know. He's like, I haven't been told a thing, but I know I got invited. They told me to come to this, but I haven't had a conversation with Coach Lewis, and I don't know whether I'm going to be retained. That was just in
Wow.
passing, and obviously, pretty quickly, that decision was made that he'd be retained. But like, just being in that limbo, and then the things he said about Sean Lewis, passionate, the vision that he has, connecting with him. Obviously, Ruben is closer in age to Sean Lewis than he is to Brady Hoke, right? And that doesn't mean that he didn't have a great relationship with Brady Hoke, but there has to be a lot more common interests and personality with Sean Lewis than with Brady Hoke. And I think maybe that vision is more in line, and there are more things that he could do that maybe he wasn't asked to do previously to help move the program further along. That I'm speculating there, but those are all possibilities down the road that could play a part. And he's a hometown kid. He has done a lot of things. Getting celebrated for the Hall of Fame is cool. And we asked him about his dad, who does so much for the community, for the high school football community, to shine a light on, as he said, not the best guys, not the best athletes, but the guys that are maybe not getting the recognition that they deserve. And so it's a San Diego family that's made a major contribution to sports in the community.
Absolutely. And I think on a personal level, like the part of the interview that's going to most um, you know, resonate with me, or that like right away, I was like, oh man, that's great, is what you just described. This is a grown man describing his father, and what glowing terms that he described him with, and I obviously would aspire to that with my kids as well. I think just in general, although first of all, I'm going to have to say, if he has 14 major tasks and now you're trying to get him to expand it to more, Andre, I don't know if,
Yeah.
if Ruben's going to appreciate that if he listens to this, but I think that it's one of those parts, I think, of why we do what we do, where we want to be able to give access to San Diego State in ways that just aren't out there. And so it was great to be able to do that with this interview. And there were fans who commented and said, I had no idea this is what happened. This is what takes place. And it needs to be said because, it's an unbelievable thing to run a university, to run a program, to be able to put all of the pieces that come together with it. And, this is just one of many. Ruben is one of many people who are a part of this, who are able to do it. So it was a great interview. And I think, as we constantly are looking for ways to keep San Diego State, in the news and being able to cover them during the off season, I thought it was a perfect time for it.
Yeah, as we sit here, they're in the middle of, the winter conditioning, the 8-week program with Coach Sobel. The roster now seems to be updated on the website with all the transfers that have gone through their compliance and gotten the clearance per se to, start working out with the team. And they brought in, I think, 23 new guys scholarship guys, whether they're the 4 incoming earlier enrollee freshmen or 19 transfers. But one of the changes that happened this week was Bojay Afili-Moiatu leaving to go coach linebackers at San Jose State after just 1 year. I mean, that defensive line coach position has been a revolving door, not because they haven't succeeded or not because they have been, fired, but because
The opposite. It's the opposite.
they've basically been promoted. I mean, if you start with, Jordan Thomas, right? He went to Cleveland. Right. Well, before that, it was Brady Hoke became head coach, but Jordan Thomas,
Right.
Justin Bojay. So he goes back to San Jose State, where he was a coach there in 2017. But that leaves another opening that will need to be filled. And as we've talked about, that Polynesian connection, Bojay was someone that helped fill that with the loss of the Savai Eselu and some of the other coaches. And so maybe they'll look in that regard to fill that spot and keep that Polynesian. So we'll see. I haven't heard any major names yet that are in contention. But there are some connections maybe to Washington, where some of the coaching staff has come from. Maybe some connections to other places where some of the other coaches have come from. But we'll have to wait and see where that goes.
Yeah, and I think that it was a very good time to talk. Just got done talking with Brandon McElroy, and to have him talk about, he almost went to UNLV to be with Bojay, and now the timing's right for him to be with Bojay. Now he's not going to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so just the idea that I think, because this is the hard part with all of the movement that you talk about, really don't get to know these guys very well. I mean, obviously we had Bojay on the show, talked to him numerous times and things like that. But as far as just understanding his full personality, how he works, how much the players are attached to him, things of that nature, I thought it was a good insight that I think provides maybe a little bit of why, like, number one, he was retained, and then number two, why San Jose State would want to go and take him from San Diego State. And I think, from a strategic standpoint, being able to see the inroads that San Diego State was able to make from a recruiting standpoint, and from a culture standpoint, and we wrote on this, and talked about this a lot with the Polynesian culture, and they would call Brady Hoke an honorary Poly, as like kind of the head of the family, and a very important part in that community is trust, and being able to get somebody who is an insider in that community to vouch for what is happening inside of the program. And so, as you say, those connections are gone until they're able to rebuild that and be able to bring that in. And what that looks like is an important component to this hire. And I thought that was very smart of them, as we had talked about the whole time, depending on how they're going to do things, to have retained already have retained Savai, or however they were going to do that. And now here they are trying to do that again. And I think with the Spartans, taking that out, if they don't do a good job in replacing it, it not only do they get a great coach for their own defense who can recruit and do all these things, but they severely weaken San Diego State and this new direction that they're going in, because they divorce the old direction too much. In this case. So we'll see who they get, and we'll see how they're able to be able to keep those Polynesian pipelines going, because, San Diego State was becoming a very viable option because the culture was so similar to the cultures at home, as the various people that we're talking about explained to us.
Yeah, that's definitely, we'll keep an eye out to see who ends up filling that spot, because I think that connection could be critical in that regard. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our conversation with Ruben, getting to know him and what he does for the school. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, please subscribe, like, follow, share on your favorite platforms, and we'll talk to you guys next time. You are listening to the SDSU podcast presented by the East Village Times. with your hosts Andre Hagberdian and Paul Garrison.